Chapter 4. A Girl. Woman. When did laughter stop denoting the uttermost depths of horror, joy, intoxication? When did laughter stop being a practice of overcoming the ghosts of the world and the ghosts of oneself? And when did it become a method of territorialization? When did laughter become a form of commodity? A woman's laughter promotes the quality of the bourgeois. A woman's laughter automatically advertises all the laughter industries that have conditioned her social role, her nonchalance. To laugh is to be acceptable. One is understood in humor. In many situations, it is the epitome of comprehension, the condition for contact between individuals. Humor is mainly feminine now. A woman laughs and thereby produces a consensus where parameters are drawn. Inside is humor and outside is non-humor. Her usual light, fluttery laughter never expresses joy but only represents it. It must fall within that arbitrary neutral middle between a sigh and a cackle. It must be calm and controlled like an artwork. It must give off an illusion of spontaneity, like the flapping of a startled butterfly's wings, but be as considered as a puff of perfume. Laughter is perfume. One is taught what to laugh at and how to laugh at it, the style changing subtly like the style of fashion. Humor has dominated every aspect of communality today. When one does not react or answer by laughing, then one is almost anticipating laughter from the other party. We talk at restaurants, gardens, and in our beds as if we were talking in an elevator. One, in fact, needs humor desperately in order to convey a sense of continuity, the designation of a law. Humor is a wall that man clings to in the dark. I will attempt to go on, but I find it so despicable. One covers up an embarrassment by laughter. One laughs at themselves in fear of being a victim of laughter. But they should attain a level of purity, of vulnerability, which affords them the capacity to laugh at oneself. It is actually a vicious circle. The condition for embarrassment is a humor whose purpose is to humiliate. One should ask why something is embarrassing in the first place, and they will always find some presupposition, some social rearing point its ugly head like a stupid monolith. There is a resentment in laughter. It is used to designate a weakness, an unorthodoxy. But the unorthodoxy is never found, only gaps in the orthodoxy, only boundaries where humor and sense stop. But that is the place of hilarity. Humor is an attempt to make failure insignificant. Because failure and futility is all around us, we anxiously designate all chaos as humorous. To laugh at oneself is to pretend that you were, in fact, not the victim of humiliation. You betray yourself and become an alter ego through laughter, mocking yourself, mocking the weak. The compulsion to laugh at oneself is essentially the prostitution of oneself for the production of laughter. One gains a consensus through mutual laughter whilst negating their very being. You are the laughter of yourself, but not yourself. The Christian self is shocked by your prostitution, stares vacantly, impotently, the silence between laughter. Humor has also become an etiquette that one cannot afford to go without. It is a process of determination. We are slaves to it. Humor's criteria is mass conformism, and its orientation is steered by the powers that be, HBO, Fox, people high enough to laugh down at us. The anachronism is the product of a much more subtle conniving process. The past must become laughable because it is not in synchronicity with our present. One must make what one does not understand humorous. A strong humor comes from deep inside the subject, a vacillating thing accumulating power within oneself. Caligula on the beach. What is he laughing at? We will never know. It is invisible, the epitome of the impossible. We cannot deduce from the beach or Caligula any reason for laughter. There is no simple cause here. Laughter is an addiction and cannot be reduced to an object, the object of titillation. Laughter used to be the surplus of a situation, an excess, so powerful it could change the very rules navigating subject and object. Does Edvard Munch's scream not perpetually echo out like the repetitious dialect of laughter? And does this not change, transform, produce the landscape? Does it not turn everything inside out? Like the constant folding of oxygen back into itself, the acceleration of breathing in and out finds a point where one does not know which is which. It cannot be located on either side. The other type of humor is a weak, sick, contagious one. It almost has a mathematical accuracy and consistency to it. It does not come from inside. It comes from televisions, fashion, clothes, coffee cups, friends. It sprawls itself out neutrally like modern paving stones. It is extremely relative. Weak humor is constructed piecemeal, a sentence, a question, a reference. It constructs itself like a virtual modeling program. Each line connects to the next, plots an etiquette of humor, designates boundaries. Weak humor wants to expand. It wants to be us. It wants to be the prostheses of the modern human world. It wants to carry on without us. Already we are seeing men and women being entirely absorbed, manipulated, designated by humor. A woman's relationship to the social world becomes a giving in, a compliance to the synaptic links that humor creates. On situations, men, objects, it is purposive by its own accord. One day aliens will discern this weak humor as a theory of distraction. This rule of laughter is neither pagan nor obviously Christian. The laughter of the world is completely meaningless. If it were meaningful, we would not be laughing. I have witnessed only one great triumph of this weak humor, to the extent where I have to ask whether it was not perhaps the strong kind hiding in contemporaneity. Oh, how it transformed from yet another remake in the swamp of arbitrary institutional humor to take flight like a kite, a striped kite. It was so much more rewarding than that tolerable form of humor clever people have inherited called cynicism. Anyway, this strong humor I witnessed with striped colors, you might even say it were a firework, like it was a throwaway, but not in the modern banal sense, but rather in a mystical sense. Its humor said to me, I have too much of it, an excess, so I give it away. And that's that. The place and gesture where this humor sprung forth from, or accidentally escaped into, was utopia. It all lasted but a few moments. I was sitting on a bench, as I do, and saw a middle-aged couple walking toward me. Behind them was a girl on a bike with stabilizers. I hardly even noticed the couple, perhaps with a pram? Anyway, a few bird tweets and roaming cars sounds later, there came this girl on her bicycle. I was looking my usual serious self, verging on sadness, and she looked up at me, read my facial expression, and somehow, with a perfect mixture of parody and endearment, mimicked my facial expression. To see this blue-eyed, freckle-faced, beautiful girl take on my persona, my burden, my humility, my seriousness, bore a truth so incongruous to me I felt it as a revelation. Yes, I am a silly, serious man, am I not, young one? Oh, how she single-handedly mocked and defeated all my gloomy gods in one parodic, angelic expression. All of them, Montaigne, Dostoyevsky, Freud, Benjamin, Adorno, Levinas, Camus, Bataille, Baudrillard. What could they do now? And then, in seeing me crack and let out a smile, so natural it felt like water running down a stream, she immediately burst into the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. Not just aesthetically beautiful, but a smile that acted as if it were a sky full of oxygen to a squadron of drowning men. A smile that felt undoubtedly connected to some truly good deed being done. And she knew in her parodic smile that she would make me smile beforehand. Oh, goddess of joy, laughter, and forgetting, I have tried to sit and think through this cunning effort of impossible joy, but a wall always appears. Beyond the wall is perhaps love without rationality nor selfishness. Christian love? A love without thought, perhaps, but antithetical to lust. And how did she know she would succeed? Perhaps if I were to remain with a morbid expression, she would have simply copied that and then carried on peddling. That would have also been magnificent, but not as much so. She could not have lost to my sadness even if she tried. There is something beautiful in confidence, after all. She was the harbinger of new moods, new childish things, a reevaluation of all values. And in reflection, I wished to have said this to her. I know I am just another of your apostles, and you do not need me. But I wanted to tell you that you will be fine because I love you. And this is from someone who loves no one but you, my daughter of Jairus, my Duania. And if you were to smile at me like you did before, I think I might die. Too much light for a man who writes notes from the underground. But bless you, and leave swiftly. I want your presence to be as short and precise as life itself. Please go, before I realize that my heart has extended and transformed into my whole body, my brain, those trees over there, before I lose myself in the truth that love has no proximity.